Hey, Coach, good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
You know, Coach was praising you guys as a staff. He says, I truly believe this is the best staff in America. It's got to make you feel good, but I believe there's a reason for that, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, a lot of really good men, first off, great coaches, and, a lot have track records of the places that they've been as recruiters and coaches. So I agree with that. And, it's a good thing to hear that sometimes from your head coach. So.
Fall camp, it's here, man.
Yep.
It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is. It's that time of year where, you kind of kiss a wife and kids and take off to work, but it's fun. It's what we do this for. Get a chance to go out there and be with the players and kind of be hands-on with them and, smell the grass, I guess you might say.
What are you wanting to see from your position your best camp does get underway tomorrow?
Obviously improvement, some maturity. We've got a few young guys that are going to be in that room, some guys that have been here and have some reps behind them, but kind of taking the reins, taking year two of the defense, knowing what to do, moving on, and coming out of it with some good, solidification of who's going to be where and how much depth we're going to have at that position.
How do you manage the young guys? Do you bounce those guys around and cross-train, or you like to lock them in pretty
typically
early
with the young guys, we try to pair them with an older guy so that they can kind of help them along as they're out there on the field or whatnot. And you try to, we get time in the summer to meet with them, for the last few years. So that helps. You're with them in the meeting room. You try to feed them information. And then you give it to them in a way that you think helps them learn. So, over a few days you kind of figure that part out. But we'll move them around and experiment some as time goes as well.
In your experience, what are some of the points on his defense especially that jump from year one to year two?
I think probably the biggest thing is understanding. The first year, every day is a new day until you get to the first day of the second year, no matter whether it be, offense, defense, special teams, whatever. So I think our kids can anticipate a little bit of what's going to happen, which helps our young guys when they come in because they have, last year you had one coach at each position. Now you may have 8 coaches plus the assistant because the older guys can help. Kind of bring the young guys along as well.
How much more comfortable do you expect Crouch to be having gone through the spring?
Oh yeah, that'll help a lot. I mean, because he's gone through spring. Went through our summer meetings. Now it's going to be really his third time to be exposed to a lot of the information, but it'll help him a lot. And then again, that's there are a lot of stresses outside of football with school. Travel, the whole thing you go through in the fall, but it'll help him coming in early.
You expect Henry to hit the ground running pretty quick because he's pretty sharp?
So far, most all the guys in that room, and I think a lot of it is in recruiting because you get to know guys. You try to hopefully recruit to a certain mindset of a player, but every bit I've been around him, and again, it's early, so you'll tell exactly how that's going to go as time goes on in fall camp.
How has Daniel kind of grown as a leader? He's a guy who talked about that a lot in the offseason, about kind of being that alpha, looking around, being the older guy now, and how has he kind of handled that role?
I think he's done a really good job with it. I think you see it a lot more on the field. It's hard to be a leader sometimes because that means you're the first guy to either start whatever it is or you have to confront teammates and peers. But he's done a really good job with it. I think a lot of it starts with what he does and how he handles himself and his work so he can be an example for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, is that sometimes when a guy who's maybe not naturally very loud but kind of has to assume that role? I mean, is it okay if your leader's maybe not always the most talkative guy as long as he's doing what he needs to do?
Yeah, I mean, everyone leads in their own way. They have to sort of figure that out. Obviously you'd love to have a lot of guys that are vocal. But that's not always the case, so they just have to find their niche of how they lead. And, his has been both. His has been putting an arm around a young guy or going out there and confronting a guy or trying to get them going for, whatever they've got going on, whether it be a workout or practice or whatnot. So.
Coach Pruitt told us that while, a lot of people say this in the country, he said that he felt that Tennessee really has the best coaching staff in the country. How would you describe this coaching staff, going into the second season?
A lot of experience in the SEC, okay, which is one of the toughest leagues in the country. We kind of all know that. So I think that helps. Coach Chaney, Coach Ansley, Coach Pruitt. Each one of those guys bring a different element, but then you also have good people, all right, and we've all coached. A lot of us have coached high school. Which means we were school teachers, so we teach the game of football now, and I think we have some of the best teachers of the game in this building.
When do you know when a guy's got this defense? Because it's so much conceptual, it sounds like it's taught. When you know that a guy's got it.
Well, I mean, I guess it becomes with execution. But then, you know, a lot of times it's a new language. And so every day a new word, you know, or words are presented to them. And so you try to get ahead of it. And as they start to be able to interact and talk back and forth with you, that's when you start to know they're starting to understand kind of the concepts and the language that they're speaking.
Are they speaking that much
Oh, yeah.
better this
Yes,
summer
yes,
compared
yes.
to where we were in the spring?
Yes, because, you know, last year new words would, you know, come in or terminology, and, you know, they have that blank look. Now it's like they know, so you're trying to get the young guys to understand what those words mean, and the, you know, so a lot of it's just the interaction that they're able to do and questions that they have.
With JJ after the later Iowa